Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this bag right here. It's really actually pretty easy. It's just got some ribbing in it. They're just kind of angled different there, but just a nice texture pattern. These beads are optional. You don't have to put them on if you don't want to. And you're going to need some type of a handle. This one came from an old bag that I had, but you can always make your own handle. You can, I think, 2 nice short ones would look really nice on it if you just want to crochet some up. Otherwise, you can always buy them on eBay or Amazon. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project, I am using Yarnspirations Bernat Pop yarn. It's kind of like the cakes. It's just a 4-ply acrylic. You don't have to use this yarn. Any type of 4-ply yarn will do. The color I'm using is called a Hot Chocolate. And there are, let's look and see, 180 yards in this skein. And I just had to use a little bit of another one. So I would say right about 300 yards if you're not using this yarn. One skein of Red Heart Super Saver, I'm sure would work as long as it had 300 yards or more in it. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. And then you're going to need some handles. I get asked all the time where I get my handles, so I'm just going to show you. Where I live, there's a Goodwill store. That's where I get most of my handles, right across from my Walmart. So what I'll do is I'll go in my Goodwill store and I'll find an old bag here that I like the handles on. So it was this one right here. And this one was actually $3.99 and it was 50% off. So it only cost me $2 for handles, which is really, really cheap if you ever try to buy them new. But, and what I did is I found this bag and then I'll just get some type of a razor blade and cut the handle off. I did it on this side already. And then if there's anything else on it I can repurpose. I'll always look if I want to use, sometimes they have big rings on them or buckles, or I always look at the buttons and see if I can reuse them. Like I might take this magnetic button out, I can cut it out and reuse it. But I'll take all the hardware off of it that I want and then I'll get rid of the bag. And then, so for $2 this one was, because it was half off, or even $4, that's cheap for getting handles and all kinds of. They got pretty buckles on them sometimes, but that's where I get most of mine. But then once I pick out a handle, then I always walk over to my Walmart and find a color to match it. So that's usually what I do. Or I have a lot of handles laying around from auctions. I get bags from auctions and yard sales and stuff. And then I got this pack of beads too at Walmart in the bead aisle. And I'm just going to string them up and decorate my bag with it. You don't have to do that, but I'll probably just string it up on a piece of yarn. So that's just optional if you want to do that. But you don't have to use these type of handles either. You can just make your own to just crochet some. So save some money that way. But either way, let's... Okay, this stitch is done in a multiple of 2 plus 3 in case you want to make your bag bigger or you want to use the stitch for something else. Which means that your starting chain number needs to be divisible by 2 and then you add 3 more to it. So for my bag, you want to start out with a chain of 45. And I already got my big piece done, so I'm going to show you on a smaller scale. But you want to start out with a chain of 45. And once you get that chain done, what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. And remember, we never count this one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4th stitch right there. Like that. And this chain here is actually counting as a stitch. So now what we're going to do is just do 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the end of the chain. And when you get to the end, you should have a total of 43 double crochets. And that's counting this little guy right here. He's counting as a stitch. So 1 double in every stitch until you get to the end. Okay, once you make it to the end and you have 43 stitches, what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn. Now for row 2, I'm sorry, we're going to single crochet right back here into this very, very first stitch. just like that. And now I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch across again until I get to the end of my row. So this time it's 1 single crochet in every stitch. And when you get to the end, you still should have 43 stitches. Okay, when you make it to the end, you want to make sure you put your last stitch on the top of this chain here at the end. Remember, he was counting as a stitch. So that'll be your last single crochet. And you should have 43. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 3. What we're going to do is double crochet right back here into this very first stitch. So this chain 1 we did doesn't count as anything. It doesn't count as a stitch or nothing. So double crochet right back into that same very first stitch, like that. And now what I'm going to do is a front post triple crochet around this double crochet down here. Not this first chain thing that we counted as a double, but the next one. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to go all the way down past the single row crochet row and go around this double crochet like that. And then I'm going to front post triple. So now I'm going to go ahead and triple crochet just like that. And now I'm going to put a double crochet into the next stitch right here. So a regular double right in the top of it. And I'm just going to repeat that. So now it's going to be a front post triple down here around the next double crochet. Remember, we front post tripled around this one, and this one we don't go around this one because that's where we put the double crochet up here. So we go around the next one, which is a front post triple around this one. So we yarn over twice, and not this one, but this one, right around it, and triple crochet, like that. And now we double crochet into the top of the next stitch. So just a regular double crochet right in the top of the next stitch. Now it's a front post triple around the next, and it's not going to be this one. It's going to be this one. So we yarn over twice, not around this one, but it'll be this one, the next one. And we front post triple crochet around it, like that. And then we double crochet into the top of the next one. And then front post triple around the next. And it's not going to be this one, it's always going to be the next one. Just like that. And we're just going to repeat this all the way to the end. Double crochet into the top of the next. And I know sometimes it gets a little confusing to kind of see where they go, but it'll get easier the more rows you do. Front post triple around the next. It's not that one, it's going to be the next one. And you want to go till you get to the end here. Double crochet. And then a front post triple around the next. Just like that. So just keep repeating that, and that's what it kind of starts to look like. Okay, I'm coming to the end here, and I'm going to triple crochet here around that stitch, and then I'm going to just double crochet into the last, just like that. And you should have 43 stitches again at the end of this row. Every row should have 43 stitches. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now for row 4, I'm going to put a single crochet right back into the very first stitch. That chain 1 does not count as anything, remember. And now I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in every single stitch until I get to the end of the row. So it's 1 single crochet in every stitch, And when you get to the end, you still should have 43 stitches. Okay, if you made it to the end of row 4 and you have 43 stitches, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now for row 5, we're going to be doing the double crochet and front post triple crochet again, but this time it's going to be staggered. So the triple crochet, this row, are going to be in between these triple crochet. So we're going to start out with a double crochet into the very first stitch, like that. And now we're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch. And now what we're going to do is front post triple crochet into the next. So right down here around this double crochet, it's in between these two front post triples. So we yarn over twice and go all the way down and grab that double crochet like that, and then front post triple crochet around it. And now a regular double crochet into the next, and then front post triple crochet around the post down here. It's in between these two front post triples, and you can see it right down there. So yarn over and go right in between them like that, and then front post triple crochet. And now we're just repeating that. Double crochet into the next, and then front post triple crochet into the next, which is the one that's in between these two. One double crochet into the next, and then front post triple right here around the next. So now it's starting to get easier to see what you're doing. Double crochet into the next, and then front post triple into the next, just like that. So now the front post triples are staggered, and you can see that. And when you get to the end, you still should have 43 stitches. Okay, I'm coming to the end of a row 5, and here is a triple crochet from the previous row. So I need a double crochet on the top of that one, and then double crochet into the last, just like that. And now it's a repeat of rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's all it is. So what we do is we chain 1 and turn, and we start again with the row of single crochet. 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way across. So when you're working on the back side of your work, it's always going to be a single crochet row. And when you get across, you should have 43 stitches still. Okay, when you make it to the end, you just chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to do our double crochet, front post triple crochet, repeat again. And you can tell where they go because they're always going to go in between the triple crochets from the row before. And we're going to start by double crocheting right back into that very first stitch. And now this time, since there's a triple crochet here, we need to triple crochet around the next stitch, front post triple. Just like that. And then double crochet into the next. And then front post triple around the next, and you can see it, it's going to be in between these two. So this one right here. So we're just repeating rows 2 through 5. And it's really easy to do. And double crochet. And then triple around the post of the next. Double crochet. And then triple around the next. And you just keep doing that until the end of the row. And remember, you should always have 43 stitches. And then you turn, and when you're working on the back side, it's always a row of single crochet. So it's pretty easy. Just keep repeating rows 2 through 5. And that's what it starts to look like. And you can see the triple crochet posts are staggered. And that's what we want. Okay, you want to do a total of 51 rows, and that's counting the single crochet rows too. So 51 total. You can always do more or less. That's completely up to you. But then we're going to sew it together. And I sewed one side together. You can see already. So it has a pretty nice clean seam. And how we do that is we're going to be sewing it with the wrong side facing us. So like that. Flip it inside out. And I'm just going to use a yarn and a piece of yarn needle and a piece of yarn. And I'm just going to sew up the side. So I'm going to put my edges together at the top, and that's where I'm going to start. We're going to sew both sides the same way. And I'm just going to neatly sew it. Leave the tail there that you can hide later. All the way down. And I'm going back and forth. I'm not going over like a kind of like a whip stitch would. I'm just going back and forth as neatly as I can. Try not to go too deep in there like that, because then you'll be able to see your stitches. I kind of just stay right on the edge. Try to maybe just grab the first loop of this stitch on this side and the back loop on that side, and that kind of keeps your yarn that you're sewing it up with to the surface, so you can't see it when you flip it inside out, but it's still a tight seam, so it won't come undone. Just want to make sure you do this part as neatly as you can, so you don't get you can't see the seam on the other side, so none of this yarn shows through. So I'm just going to keep working just like this all the way down until I get my piece all the way sewed up. And you want to make sure you do your other side the same way. And then we'll flip it right side out. And then we'll start working on the top part of the bag. You can look at it every once in a while and make sure your seam's looking okay. And it is. So, okay, once you get both sides up, sewed up, just want to flip it right side out again. Push your corners out. There we go. Now we got it all sewed up. Now I'm going to work around the top here. And I'm going to be doing single crochet around the top. So where I'm going to start is, here's where we sewed it up, and here's the last stitch on this side, and the last stitch on this side. I'm going to start with the last stitch here, and that's where I'm going to start my yarn. And I'm going to chain one, I'm going to go right back into that same spot and single crochet. Like that. And now I'm just going to jump over here to the first stitch on this side. So this little area here where we sewed up, we're just going to jump over, skip it all, and single crochet right there. And now what I'm going to do is work one single crochet in every stitch all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Just like that. I'll work it one single crochet all the way across this side, and I'll meet you right over here at the other seam, and I'll show you how to get across this seam too. Okay, when you get here to the other side where the other seam is, we're just going to do it the same way. I just single crocheted in this last stitch on this side. Now I'm just going to skip this and jump over here to this first single crochet that was on this piece. So we're just kind of skipping this little area that we seamed up. just like that, and then continue around till you get back to the beginning, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Just like that. Okay, when you make it back around to the beginning, I'm going to put a stitch marker here. So I'm just going to use this piece of yarn. That way I know where I begin and where I end my round, because I'm not going to be slip stitching it together. So get a stitch marker out and just place it right here. Now what I'm going to do is just jump right over to my first single crochet, not that chain 1, but the first single crochet, and I'm going to single crochet in it. How many stitches around that you have now, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to make no difference. So just jump right over here and single crochet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6 single crochets in a row, and then I'm going to do a single crochet decrease. So that counts as my first one. So I'm going to do 6 in a row. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to do a single crochet decrease, which is worked over 2 stitches. And what I do is I go into the first one and I draw up a loop, and then I'm going to go into the second one and draw up a loop, and I'll have 3 loops on my hook. I want to yarn over and go through all 3 loops. And that took 2 stitches and made it into 1. And what this is going to do is just kind of make the top of the bag just a little bit smaller at the top. So now I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to do 6 single crochets in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I'm going to do a single crochet decrease. So I'm going to go into the first stitch and draw up a loop, and then I'm going to go into the second stitch and draw up a loop and yarn over and go through all 3 loops on my hook. And I'm just going to repeat this all the way around. So I'm going to do 6 single crochets in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a single crochet decrease. So go into the next one and drop a loop, and then go into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over and go through all 3 loops on your hook. And then again, 6 in a row. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then decrease. Just like that. So I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way back around until I get to my stitch marker. Okay, once you make it back around, it does not matter if you ended, how many stitches you ended with. So like I had a decrease here, and then I had 4 single crochets left. If you didn't have that, just go ahead and finish out how many stitches you had left, because like I said, the stitch count up here doesn't matter at all. It's not going to affect the way it looks. So once you make it back to your stitch marker, just pull it up and put it back there. And then now we're just going to go around a few rounds, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch, just to make the brim of my hat, or my hat, a little bit taller. So I'm not going to be doing any more decreases. It's just 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my stitch marker. And then when I get back to my stitch marker, I'll just move it up and I'll go around again. 1 single crochet in every stitch. So just rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch now, no more decreasing. Okay, once you make it back around here, what I did a total of 5 rounds of single crochet. But I did the very first one, and then the decrease one that we did, and then I did 3 more after that. So that was a total of 5. So the first one, the decrease row, and then 3 more rounds of just 1 single crochet in every stitch for a total of 5. And you can always do more or less if you want. And I made it back to my stitch marker. So what I'm going to do is go into slip stitch into the next stitch, pull it up, put my yarn, and you can remove that stitch marker and hide that tail. And then I'm going to sew on my handles. Now remember, you can use any type of handle that you have, or you can make handles. I think homemade handles would look good. 2 short ones or even 1 long one would look good. But I'm going to go ahead and get mine sewed on. I'm just going to use yarn and a yarn needle and sew the rings on right to the brim of the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I went ahead and sewed my handles on, and then I just added some beads that I strung out. That's optional. You don't have to do that, but I'll put a better picture of it at the end of the video. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you make this or anything else, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. And don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. And until next time, have a good day.